Hi guys and welcome back. Today, four of my journey and hope our journey to test the validity of the idea of manifestation, the idea of creating things, and the idea of letting the universe create the life that we want. We were talking about how there is the idea, we can choose the line or the reality that we would like to live in. Some time ago, I was listening to Joe Rogan, interesting guy, of course, you probably know him, and he said essentially the same thing that if there is the multiverse and there are a lot of info, hints, especially from quantum physics and so on, that this thing actually exists. It's very hard to grasp the idea, especially when we are in on autopilot, when we walk around everywhere, not thinking about these things, but it's still important to think about them. Uh, but let's talk about day four. So today was a little bit hard of a day. I have found some new interesting ideas and some new ways to try to make this manifestation practice work. And I've come to the idea to re-begin or to do again that waking up at 5 or 5:30 in the morning and doing meditation again, maybe doing also manifestation meditation and trying out whether or not this stuff, these ideas actually work in real life. And yesterday I told you that I'm going to tell you about some manifestations, and the one that I remember is when I was actually studying for my bachelor's degree. And I remember there were a university competition, and it was essentially a whole university kind of thing. And I told myself that I was going to win that competition. And I remember that I went in front of a mirror and kept repeating that really, really strongly with as much emotions as possible at the time. And I think that I did it maybe 5 minutes, 10 minutes, something like that. And then actually it did happen. So that was really interesting and really, 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 really interesting situation. Then I went out and I was trying to meet some women, and I said I tried the same technique, and in the end it didn't work. Now I think that it didn't work because I still had some negative beliefs regarding dating and so on, and regarding love, etc. So I think, and especially regarding my insecurities with women. So it was an interesting aspect. So that's why I know that it can be combined with cognitive behavioral therapy, because cognitive behavioral therapy holds all the best secrets and techniques to change actually our internal beliefs about life in general. So this was one instance where I've seen manifestation of this kind working out. And the next time I remember was when we had like an international event, and there were actually you could buy some tickets, and then with those tickets you could actually win some stuff. And the first prize was actually an iPhone. And so I remember putting that into practice, and I kept constantly saying, I am going to win an iPhone. I am going to win an iPhone. And I was telling everybody around that I'm so happy that I'm going to win this iPhone, and people were, remember, laughing at me and saying that it's not going to happen and so on. But I kept like dreaming and saying this stuff. And what do you know? In like uh, maybe 10 minutes later, 15 minutes later, it actually did happen. But I did not win the iPhone. I actually won an iPad. So interesting. I did not get what I actually asked for, but it was very near. So I could say that this was some kind of manifestation at work. Maybe, who knows? Or maybe I'm just filtering out the situations where I actually won. But it's interesting to me that I actually used the same technique. Then uh, another thing that I did, for example, I was trying to do the written exercises and asking for the kind of girlfriend that I wanted, and it actually did happen. And it was all the all the things that actually asked for, but the problem was that she came exactly as I wanted her to be. But the problem was that she was very jealous, and that's why I couldn't make that work, because she was very possessive and jealous. So that was something that I could not stand, and it was actually debilitating. And I still loved her; she was great, etc. But this is a thing that, if we want to be together, of course, this has to be resolved. And of course, it all depends on the other person. You cannot force another person to change, even though that would probably be for the best for both of us. But okay, that's just another topic. But essentially, is the idea that, can you manifest a partner in your life, or what kind of partner would you like to have in your life? So that was interesting. And as I told you yesterday, I made some like this pieces of paper, and I said, actually, I wrote down, I am a globally successful therapist making millions of euros, inspiring and healing millions of people. So this phrase should, or has everything that should be, like according to the manifestations rules. So it's in the first tense, you say I am, so a globally successful therapist, so stating what I would like to be, what I am, not what I would like to be, and making how much would you like to make. So millions of euros to get security and freedom. That's the reasoning behind it, and also the idea of inspiring and healing millions of people. So if this become reality, then it would be great for the world, because healing millions of people would be great, and inspiring millions of people would be also be great. So it's essentially a win-win. And then I tried something else, and it's like putting these pieces of paper and saying to actually demystify the thing, and essentially, instead of stating an affirmation, I am trying to ask questions. So for example, is it possible to become a millionaire? Yes, of course it's possible, because there are essentially millions of people that are millionaires, so it is possible. Is it a beautiful thing to be a millionaire? Yeah, of course it is a beautiful thing, if especially if it comes from helping other people and making the world a better place. So why not? Because millions of dollars can get you freedom. I mean, yes. And then the next question that I asked was, could this actually happen? And I say, yeah, of course, it could happen. Why not? So this is the methods, but today I felt a little bit angry, because usually when I do this stuff, or when I did these things in the past, I usually get like a feeling of unrestfulness, that insecurity, whether or not it's going to happen. So this is what I felt. Of course, even coming from cognitive behavioral therapy, I cannot know what is going to happen. That's for sure. I can do what I can to make that thing happen, but that's the other things I cannot control. So they are not under my control, and I shouldn't care about that. And the other thing was that it's the best way to do is to like put it like an order, like a restaurant, and waiting for it to come to you. So this is something that you can do, that I can do, and let's see what happens. And until next time, I wish you all the best. The Wisdom Therapist out for today.